Hi, welcome. It's what is it? It's April 14th, 2026. I've got to get my left brain activated to remember all of that. So yes, it's if I'm correct at this moment in time and place, we're on planet Earth. It's April 14th, 2026, and I'm Joe Weston, and we're here for our monthly online gathering, Global Heart Gathering. And it's just a delight
It's
to see new people show up and to see people I've known for years show up. It's just remarkable to when people come together like this to share space, even in the world on the World Wide Web, we come together and we connect and we hold space with each other, heart resonance. And as you know, that we've been doing this for many years to cultivate what I call resilience and fierce compassion. And I want to put some of that in context. And for those of you who are here for the first time, it's heel leuk dat je er bent. For those of you who are here for the first time, what we do is I give a little chat. I just give some ideas that have been sitting with me for a month now. And then I lead you in a practice where have been doing that for many years to cultivate resilience and fierce compassion. And there's time for reflection. And we're here to support each other and hold space. And for many of us, we come to rest, to restore, to grow, to learn. And the context I want to talk about this time is I want to put into context what these talks are. I'm talking certainly to those of you who have been coming for many years. Tori's been doing this for many years. Tia has been doing this for many years. Um, uh, uh, Ophelia has been doing this. Shelley has been doing this for many years. Deborah. And I believe we've been doing this since 2017. And if it's not 2017, it's 2018. And until about 2022, we were doing it every week. And then we went to once a month because my system, my body, as I get older, needed that rest in between. And who knows, we might go back to more. But I already was feeling at that time that I wanted to gather people because I've been saying that for a long time. And many of you have heard me say it. I'm going to say it over and over again because we all need to hear it over and over again. Since 2005, if not sooner, I've been saying in all of my lectures, the bad news is that the systems as we know them are crumbling. And the good news is that the systems as we know them are crumbling. And we are in this transition period, this liminal space. And many of us are not trained to hold ourselves, our attention, our nervous systems, our reactive behavior, how we treat each other in that uncomfortable liminal space. And I talk about this in the Fear Civility book, we pop into our typical fight, flight, freeze response. And as the anxiety is rising and the uncertainty, certainly through COVID and what we're still seeing, if you just take a moment and track what's been happening the last just 2 weeks, the world situation is getting more activated. And I've been saying for years, I call the world system the global heart. And my prognosis is that the global heart is not well. Why? Because we've been feeding on a diet where we are technologically overfed and spiritually malnourished. And that the solution isn't the polarized thing of one or the other. The solution is to cultivate a balanced diet. Balance is the key. It comes from all of my Taoist practices and many of the different practices I do. Balance is the key. We need the technology. We need to make friends with the technology. But imagine technology that has as its basis compassion, humanity, care for all beings, and care for the planet itself. What kind of a planet we would have. So, in essence, things are crumbling, it's causing a lot of anxiety, and the world system is doing a great job of keeping us dysregulated and disconnected and isolated. And I've been saying that for years, and every opportunity I can say it, the most radical, rebellious thing that we can do at this moment on this planet is to cultivate our own self-care, our own sense of regulation and balance within ourselves, and to actively, courageously, fiercely cultivate and deepen our relationships. And in fact, I would say that the number one solution to a lot of our world situations, certainly our polarizing way of being with each other, is if we have the courage and the skills to reach out and make new alliances in surprising places. I've been saying that for years, and you hear me that. You can also, for those of you who have heard me say this 62,000 times, say it with me. If only hanging out with people who already agree with us were going to solve our world problems, we would have already solved our world problems. Tori was ready to do it with me. I know it. And Shelley, if only hanging out with people who already agree with us were going to solve our world problems, we would have solved them because we do that all the time. They're not solving our world problems. So I just want to offer another alternative. Maybe we need to reach out and connect with people with different viewpoints. We used to be able to do it. Remember in the olden days, just 15 years ago, we were able to sit at the dinner table with relatives and have really heated conversations, but it didn't mean we had to stop coming to the events with each other and demonizing each other. Do you remember? Can I just get a nod or an acknowledgement? And that's part of what I want to talk about today when I'll get to that in a moment. But if you remember, what we're here to do is I like to see what we're here doing is we're training ourselves to be doulas, midwives, for a system that's dying, death doulas, and for a system that's being born, that is already being born. The media may not show us that because it's not sexy to show all the beautiful, emergent, creative, collaborative, regenerative ways that millions of human beings and groups are taking care of the planet and one another, but it's happening. And I want to really focus on that now, this idea of, because I've been saying it for years now, what does it mean to be a midwife and a doula? And to consider that what a midwife does is it's tracking through the whole process of birthing where the woman is in the process. And if you think about it, they're really tracking like, okay, I've never been in that experience. So, in this lifetime, I've never had that experience. But if from what I hear and what I, talking to people, many people could talk about this. You track the contractions and you see how frequently they come and how severe they are. I have been doing that for the world system for 8 years. And I can tell you from my observations, and I'm not the only one who's seeing it, the contractions are coming harder and quicker. Does anybody else feel the same way? That if you think about what's happening now, it's not good or bad. It's simply an observation when we see what's happening in the Middle East, when we see what's happening in various parts of the world. The contractions are coming harder and harder. And what the doula will do is they'll step more into their resilience. And what is our definition of resilience? Presence, awareness, balance, and flow. And we have been cultivating that, and many of you in your own practices have been cultivating that, many people in the world, to think about this idea that when you can literally really move through the world with full presence, with awareness, and with balance and flow to meet the challenges of our time, then you are in resilience. You're not expending energy, you're actually cultivating energy. You're in creative emergence. You're in relationship in a way that uplifts instead of keeps you in a fight, flight, freeze. It's the fight, flight, freeze that wears us out. Because the fight, flight, freeze, not good or bad, the fight, flight, freeze is a resistance to what is. And I've been saying that now for months with the global practice, that what if there's nothing for us to do or to grow into or to add? What if actually we become more alive, more in alignment with a new way of being on this planet that is heart-centered, that our job is not to add things, but to actually let things go? and that in the essence of who we are, we all already whole and perfect and fully powerful. In the deepest levels of our hearts, there is a humanity that transcends all of the labels and all of the things that are keeping us separate. We don't have to cultivate that inner heart power that is transcendent. It already is. Our job is to eliminate all of the obscurations and obstacles that keep us from tapping into it. And I don't use words, I don't, as you know, one of my main practices is Tibetan Buddhism, and of course, it's influenced me in an enormous amounts of ways. I don't consider myself a Buddhist teacher, but a lot of this work is based on my experience of more than 30 years of practicing and studying Tibetan Buddhism, as well as now almost 40 years of my Taoist practice with Tai Chi. And I bring that all in. And two of the fundamental principles, you'll recognize it based on what we have been discussing for years now, for those of you who've been here, is the first one we've been focusing on a lot lately is the concept of interdependence. That's the Buddhist term for what we've been talking about, which is, do we really believe we're all one? And I say in a loving way, with a little bit of humor, or could say sarcasm, that many people, it's very easy to say, oh, we're all one. And still do harmful things. Still cut people off when they're driving or start yelling or whatever they do. And it's not even good or bad, it's just unconscious often. So part of this practice is really stepping into what does it mean, interdependence? And if you think about it, if we are all one, that means we are all fully, completely connected. All of us. You can't eliminate one single being. Then we're not all connected. As soon as you eliminate one being, we're not all connected. That's just logic. All one means all one. Can't be all one except for that person. All one. So if we are all one, whatever you feel about that person doesn't matter. We're all one. And if you think about it, if we are all one, then we are all connected. If we are all connected, then we just naturally feel the suffering of others without even of all others. Right? If we're all one, we're all completely connected. If we're all completely connected, we feel the suffering of others. If we feel the suffering of others and we are cultivating compassion in our hearts, we would be running around all the time trying to alleviate the suffering of anyone we come across. If we all were running around trying to eliminate the suffering of everyone we come in contact with, there would be no hunger. There'd be no war. There'd be no abuse. There'd be no violence. So I'm not saying this is right. I'm offering this as a perspective that if we really believe it's all one, there would not be hunger. But there is hunger. Therefore, we may think we're all one, but we're not practicing it on a daily basis. And that's the work. The other piece I want to introduce is impermanence. And all of this has to do with what can we do, and this is the key. What can, for many of you know, now this is the thing. This is the thing. What's keeping us from feeling all one, interdependent, what's keeping us from feeling this other piece, which is impermanence, understanding the concept of impermanence, that nothing is permanent, is our own rigid way that we think about things. So in essence, the problem or the issue, the root cause of the issue is our own rigidity. Our physical rigidity, our mental rigidity, our emotional rigidity, our spiritual rigidity. So for me, what that does, I wouldn't say it's comforting, but it gives me a focus. Then I realize, well, then really my only daily practice is to soften my rigidity, my physical rigidity, my emotional rigidity, my mental rigidity, my spiritual rigidity. And how we conceptualize the world for many of us, I speak for myself, is very rigid. Even if you have issues around self-doubt and self-worth, those are rigid viewpoints you have about yourself. We remember the practice, for those of you who do it, it's always understanding how um, classifying people as loved one, stranger, and adversary, that by putting people into those labels, the loved ones causes attachment, the stranger causes indifference, the adversary causes aversion. Those are the root causes of our suffering. When we are caught up in the stormy sea of attachment, indifference, and aversion, we can't find our peace, and we're not accessing our hearts and our highest powers, which the planet needs from us so much right now. So by softening the rigidity of that, we soften the hold that attachment, indifference, and aversion have on us. And those stormy seas become like a sweet, balanced lake. That's in Buddhism, that's the definition of equanimity. When your mind can rest and be that calm lake. Then if you go deeper, for those of you who really go further with this cosmology, when the mind is that clear, it becomes translucid, and then you can see deeper levels of your own consciousness. When that mind becomes clear, your heart is settled, which means you are committing less violence and aggression and separation. And you have become, in that moment, what many people are talking about in so many circles, citizens of the new earth. Citizens of what is capable, we are all capable of being at this moment on this planet. It's not going to come through technology. We're not going to go to another planet to find this new nirvana or whatever. It's going to be a transformation within ourselves. So the interdependence helps us soften the rigidity of loved one, stranger, and adversary. Also the impermanence. If you think about it, the label of loved one, stranger, and adversary can change. Many of the things we're believing to be true is impermanent. What I just said, the way it currently is now doesn't have to be this way. It wasn't always this way. It doesn't have to be this way. Remember that. I try to say that every day. What we are currently experiencing globally, personally, doesn't have to be this way. And it wasn't always this way. And it won't always be like this. If you look at our current issues, if you look at constitutions and countries and borders and financial systems and the internet, they didn't exist a million years ago. Or I should ask, maybe I don't know, maybe I don't know my history. Did a constitution of the current countries exist a million years ago? Yes or no? Go like this or go like this. So they're not permanent. How did they come into being? It's by mental constructs, by agreements from human beings. So our current situation, we all decided this. This is all current agreements we made, and we can make different agreements. If you think about it, I just feel like I need to share that, the United States is about to have a big birthday, becoming a big boy, 250 years. 250 years, if you think about the history of human beings, if you just think about European, Western history, what, to a couple of thousand years? If you go back to other cultures, like in the Mesopotamia and other cultures that go back 3 or 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 years, 250 years is nothing. Scientists say that Homo sapiens have existed now for more than 300,000 years. 300,000 years, 250 years. I'm just using these ways that I use them to help me soften the rigidity of my own viewpoints that the United States wasn't always here and it might not always be here. It's just like any other country. And we get to decide what it is. And so this is my idea of by the more we soften this rigidity, the more we can come into a notion of spontaneous compassion in action, which is what this practice is, where we are doulas, where when everybody is spinning out because of they're so caught up in social media, and then that's also pretty temporary. Please take a moment to think about it, that the World Wide Web, the way we know it with personal computers, is only 35 years old. 350,000 years? 35 years. So we have choices to make in that. And that I am trying, and that we're trying, for those of us who are doing this practice, that when the media and the world system is trying to spin us out, when world leaders are trying to spin us out, we have a choice. We can stay regulated and play the role of midwife for those who are spinning out. If we can just do that, we are providing an enormous service at this moment on the planet. And to think just one, no, yeah, no, I'll take that into the practice. Does anybody have a reflection before we go into the practice? Just some of the things I've said that's burning in your heart that you want to share, just unmute.
I do.
Okay.
33 years ago, I had a hysterectomy last week, and so I'm grieving a little bit about my womb. But 33 years ago, I had a midwife to do a home birth. And one of the things that she taught me for the rest of my life and practice was to be at rest in the presence of pain and suffering, to be at rest, to be present, but not to necessarily interfere. She didn't interfere. It was my spiritual process, and she let me have it. And it was so important for me. And I think being at rest in the presence of a lot of what's going on is so important. Sort of to be that stillness helps us to shift the energy, to bring our heart, that global heart. So I just want to offer that.
Thank you, Tia, and thank you for sharing about your procedure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know if you would. I don't know if that's necessary to do that. I mean, let's honor it. Let's hold space for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we're here to support you in that.
I appreciate it.
And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's take a breath. Anyone else feel compelled to want to share something?
I do. I'm. This is the Tuesday after a meditation weekend that I started with doing because of Joe decades ago. But today, I just want to express um, what you were saying about us loving everyone, and just know I encircle you all in a circle of grace today, and all of us here together in a circle of grace, and all of those that we're hearing about in the news in a circle of grace.
Yeah.
And I attribute my ability to do that with following Joe's work. So thank you.
Thank you, James. Anybody wants one more person? You don't have to. Well, you'll have time after the practice to share as well. But I just was wondering if anyone had anything compelling to want or on your heart.
No, I just want to say I'm Paul, and I'm so happy to be here. Um, I actually am just remembering that, Joe, I spent an evening with you exactly 10 years ago on the night of the first election when Trump was elected.
Oh.
We were together at that moment, and I, so it's already been 10 years. It's been 10 whole years, and we're so in it now. And when you talk about the contractions happening so much more quickly, I feel like they're happening every day. And so I'm really grateful to be, I feel very connected to you, Joe, even though I never see you. So I just felt like I wanted to be with you in real life for a minute. And, one of the things I'm aware of is how lonely it's feeling at the moment. Intellectually, I believe that we are all connected, and I hold that, I live with that, but I don't always feel that. And I sometimes feel very disconnected and alone. So it's really great to be in this, just to feel part of this circle so quickly, never having met anyone here before. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Tremendous heart. Tremendous heart. Okay, well, let's do our practice, and then again we'll have time to reflect, and let's take this what we're bringing in to the practice. If you don't have to, I mean, if you want to, I prefer if you keep your camera on, but you don't have to. But there's no right way to do this practice or wrong way to do this practice. This is a practice for you to see how you can use this. What we're doing in a sense is we're like an athlete. We're stretching the heart muscle to be able to hold more beings with love and compassion without it burning you out and without it shutting you down. That just like an athlete, pole vaulting can start at 2 meters. 2 meters, that's kind of high. 1 meter. That they're not going to, to make sure that they can jump and they don't break something and that they can actually do it, they slowly cultivate more skill, more precision, more strength and capacity. And in essence, that's what this is. With this idea that maybe this is, for me, I would say maybe this is just enough what my role is to hold this space as a midwife. The world needs that. Okay, so sitting in a way where your spine is straight without being rigid. Elongating from the back of your neck, so you tuck in your chin a little bit. It's what we call power sit. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders, relax your belly. This is a way of sitting so that you can cultivate the most balance and flow without cutting off different parts of the body, the energetic body or the circulatory system or the respiratory system. Bringing your attention to a spot in your lower belly, which is approximately the width of 3 fingers below your navel and 1/3 of the way into the body. So for those of you who are new to this, you must know this from other traditions, but if you don't, if you put your fingers together, place your index finger over your navel, where your pinky is, that's approximately the width of 3 fingers below your navel. Now bring your attention inside of your body, about 1/3 of the way into the body from the front. If it feels safe for you, close your eyes. If it doesn't feel safe for you, then maybe just look down towards the ground with your eyes slightly open. And see if you can bring your attention inside, into that spot, the width of 3 fingers below your navel and 1/3 of the way into the body. This is your center of gravity, gut wisdom, impulse. I would say this is where your personal power resides. And this is where your center of awareness and perception, how you perceive your reality. Purpose of this practice is to bring into alignment our thinking process, our feeling process, and our perception process, so that they come into alignment and balance. Now focusing on perception. So from your center, become aware of your contact points, the parts of your body that are connecting with what you're sitting on, the ground and the floor. From awareness, feeling the sensations of those parts of your body, the back of your thighs, the bottoms of your feet, perhaps, pressing against the ground and the chair and the cushion. Feeling the stability under you. Those neurons at these contact points are gathering the data of what I am sitting on is stable. That information is traveling up the nervous system to the brain. The brain gets the signal, this is stable. It activates the appropriate hormones to allow you to drop in and allow yourself to be held. And what a tremendous gift you can give yourself, that sense of being held. Let yourself be held. If you want, you can drop deeper into the chair, with your awareness deeper into the chair and the floor to connect with the earth beneath you. Connecting in your acupuncture point on the planet with Mother Earth. Honoring all the creatures and beings that have walked on this spot. The sacred space holders who have tended to this space. Gratitude. Mother Earth doesn't discriminate. She holds each one of us equally. Let yourself be held. And using this practice to bring your awareness more into the present moment, starting with yourself. So from your center, become aware of your physical body. No need to do anything, simply notice. Learn the vocabulary of the physical body, the wisdom of the physical body. Through sensation, tension and relaxation, heart rate, depth of breath, temperature, moisture. Listen. Nothing to fix. From your center, become aware of your emotional body. What emotions are you present to in this moment? There may be hundreds flowing through you. Which ones seem to be most on the surface or loudest or prevalent? And in this practice, know that all feelings are welcome. Let energy flow through you if it wants to. Let emotions flow through you. All are welcome. Balance and flow. From your center, become aware of your mental body. Not necessarily what you're thinking, but the quality of your thoughts in this moment, without needing to change anything. Are they tight and judgmental? Or are they spacious and generous? As you focus in your center, you're cultivating a deeper relationship with the part of you that's aware of your thoughts that aren't your thoughts. Maintain a connection with your core as the basis, your personal power, the basis of this practice. And now bring awareness to the middle of your chest, where your heart center, where your heart power resides. Compassion, respect, connection, our highest values. And from your center and from your heart, becoming aware of that part of you which has connection with something larger than yourself. What does that mean, that part of you, your spiritual self, that may have from your heart and your center, that is connected to something larger than yourself. And from that place, notice in this moment, what is your connection to something larger than yourself? That could be something spiritual, it could be humanity. And letting that the force of that, what is larger than yourself, flow in through you from above, and Mother Earth flowing in through you from below, resonating and mixing in with your heart center and your core, your power center, your personal power. Let that radiate out into your personal space and filling your personal space right up to the edges of your personal space in all directions, behind you, above you. And with this awareness of yourself in this present moment, from your center and from your heart, take a full deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, allowing energy to flow and emotions to flow. Maintaining your connection with yourself in this way, in this moment, from your center and from your heart. Now become aware of your environment, your surroundings, your space, without looking. From your heart, connecting with your surroundings. From your personal power, connecting with your surroundings. In all directions. And really noticing how might your surroundings be influencing you in this moment. Allow yourself to be influenced by yourself, by your surroundings. What I often say, let yourself be moved. With this awareness of yourself and your surroundings, take another deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And building on your awareness of this present moment with self and awareness, and now from your center and from your heart, connect with the others in this meditation circle. Without looking, simply with your heart and with your center, your personal power, connecting with those on this call on the World Wide Web, connecting with those who may not be online with us now, but are connecting in around the world. We have 2 of our regulars who come back in our community who are currently literally on a boat on the Nile. People in various parts of North America, people in various parts of Europe and elsewhere. How might you be influencing those in this meditation circle, and how are you being influenced? And from your center and from your heart, with this awareness now of yourself, your surroundings, and those in this meditation circle, take a deep, deep, deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, allowing energy to flow and emotions to flow. And building on this experience of your awareness of the present moment from your center and from your heart, maintaining your connection with self, surroundings, and others, become aware of those, of all human beings, beginning with those human beings you would call loved ones. So taking a moment to have the rigid thinking, and who pops up in your head of all the 8 billion human beings as loved ones for you. This isn't a test. You're not going to be tested. No one's going to know who you choose. How many loved ones can you hold in your heart right now? What faces do you see, or groups of people? How does that influence your level of open-heartedness? And in this moment, as you stand face to face with them, consider the impermanence of this label for loved ones. For instance, consider if you have a partner or a spouse. Remember that they're currently a loved one, but at some point in your life, they were probably a stranger. So in essence, your label of them switched. They didn't switch. They didn't change. Your label of them did. Think about your loved ones that one week you're in love, you love them, and the next week you're angry with them, and the way you think of them and the things you wish you could do to them, but you couldn't because it's not legal. Therefore, the impermanence of your relationship with them. Not good or bad, simply softening that rigidity. And imagine letting go of your label of loved one and simply seeing them as human being. And now from your center and from your heart, become aware of those human beings you would call stranger. Who arises in your heart? What faces do you see? Groups of people. Could be your neighbors, people you saw on the street, in the news. I'm going to guess that in your list of strangers, there may be close to 8 billion of them. How many of them can you hold in your heart at this moment? And what makes them stranger? And will they always be stranger? If your partner or spouse was once a stranger, who's not to say that any one of these strangers can't become a good friend, a healer, an ally? Consider your indifference to them and their suffering. And imagine letting go of the label right now of stranger and simply seeing them as human being. Allowing energy to flow and emotions to flow. Now we're going to stretch our hearts a little bit more from your center and from your heart. Become aware of those human beings you would label adversary. And be honest, who arises in your heart? No one's going to know. How many adversaries can you hold in your heart or can you bring up in your awareness right now? What faces do you see? What groups of people do you see? What clothes are they wearing? What hats are they wearing? And as you stand face to face, notice, does that influence your level of open-heartedness in your own self-care, feeling safe? Make sure you're safe. And consider the aversion that might come up around these people. And to consider, who's to say, were they always an adversary? Do they always have to be an adversary? Perhaps they might not be an adversary. Perhaps they may just be a stranger. There's no right answer. There's nothing to do. I'm not leading you anywhere. I'm simply offering to you a way of looking at the rigidity of your label and to see what would happen if you can slowly soften that. Imagine you having the skill and capacity to let go of your label of adversary for these people, this person, and they simply become a human being. The potential of being a loved one, if not a stranger. And now as you stand face to face with all of these beings that you had labeled loved one, stranger, and adversary, as you let the, like mist, like a mirage of the label just mystifying away, as you stand face to face with 8 billion human beings, what does that bring up in your heart? What's your level of all oneness in this moment with them? Your level of impermanence. Imagine every human being doing the same and that we all walk the planet as simply as human beings in right relationship with one another. In right relationship with one another, in right relationship with all creatures on this planet, and most importantly, in right relationship with the earth itself. Imagine. How does that feel? What expressions are on people's faces? What's their level of energy and vitality? What's yours? The health of the planet. Feel this. And with this image in your mind's eye and in your heart, from your center and from your heart, take a full breath in to anchor this. And now, with this awareness, now allow all human beings to flow into your heart as you bring your awareness back to your connection with those in this meditation circle. And just with a moment of an inner bow and honoring to each and every one of each other. Allow those in this meditation circle to flow into your heart as you bring your awareness back to your surroundings. This is the key part, is to take your practice and now to walk it in the world, starting with reconnecting with your surroundings. With gratitude, allow your surroundings to flow into your heart as you bring your awareness back to yourself. And imagine the practice of letting go of your own sense of self as being all important and seeing yourself as a human being that also could use some love and compassion. Allow this practice to now flow into every cell of your body, enlivening and activating and sparking every cell of your body. Letting the benefits of this practice flow into your organs, healing your organs, nurturing your organs, softening the rigidity of your organs, allowing this practice, the benefits of this practice, to flow into your nervous system as a way to remember it, to save it, 𝗵𝗁. And as a way to close this practice, let's take one final deep breath in. Deep, deep, deep in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when you're ready, making the transition back to the group, slowly open your eyes, look around the room, stretch your body, shake your body. Looking at the little squares of everybody connecting in the World Wide Web. So we had a chance to reflect. I got to set our motivation through what I shared. We got a chance to do our practice, and there's now some time to reflect. Did a little reflecting, but is there anyone who wants to share what's on your heart based on the practice or anything else we discussed? Just unmute, and you don't have to ask permission. Just...
This weekend in my meditation, I had two intentions. One is, who am I? And the second one was, do nothing. And those were the two meditations I'd been listening to last week leading up to the weekend. So what you talked about today was definitely in line with what I experienced. And, you know, when it's you're wide open to my radiant being, and the meditation of do nothing, it just leaves me open, and the memories, the habits of that constricted energy being released and filled with universal life force. I'm like, oh, what can I do with that? And so maybe I'm going to become a doula after all this. Doula of life.
Oakland has plenty of them, but not a lot of male doulas. So maybe that's a male-bodied doula. So maybe that's an interesting angle. Thank you,
So
James.
Thank you today. It's just right in line. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, yeah. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Anyone else?
This morning I was it's trash day here. Sorry, there's a trash backing up, trash truck. This morning I was at a coffee shop and a woman walked by with a 100% human t-shirt on, and it was really the very best. I was like, well named. I'm regularly astounded by the fact that there's nothing else like us around here in this life other than us humans, and how puzzlingly hard it is for us to compassionize and to recognize that and to be in that awareness of, wow, the fact that you're doing that particular thing that is going in my heart sideways, what possibly, like, how curious can we become of what is creating that, and how much willingness or courage does it take for us to step toward instead of away and whispering in the next person's ear about how fucked up that is or whatever, you know what I mean? So I loved the 100% human t-shirt, and you reminded me of that during the meditation.
Thank you, Shelley. Anyone else?
I wanted to appreciate what James said after I spoke before, because I talked about being at rest. But I think that grace is so important, that love, holding all of us in love, is so important. And I have questions, Joe. I have questions about why we separate loved one, stranger, and adversary, because at this point I'm feeling like everyone is a loved one, and that I am holding it in that way. Often there are times that I'm not. But so I don't really understand the distinction, and maybe it's something I've just moved past, but I'd love to talk to you about it at some point.
Love that. That'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, thank you, Joe, for this experience and your reflections. I noticed that what it leaves me is a longing to further slow down. And is one of the things to really do this is to really let it sink in and slow down, because part of that contraction is that's what contractions do. They come ever faster, right? And to really be able to embrace them, I notice I need to slow down. So that's what this leaves me with. Thank you.
Thank you. Rainier is a remarkable meditation practitioner, so it's lovely to have you join us. At least that's what I know of you. Thank you.
I was moved most by remembering the whole practice being softening of rigidity in all plan, in our physical, our mental, our emotional, our connections with others. And what comes up in me in that, Joe, is also something you often say around the solutions are simple. Implementing the solutions is hard work.
Yeah.
And I feel in this practice and remembering, again, also threading in being with people that aren't of the same mindset, right? To make these changes. And it sometimes, like, I guess I can't, I have difficulty taking it all in of actually, I guess, doing it or experiencing that, even, you know, when it's someone close, and keeping the groundedness in different opinions and ways that, quote unquote, it is, right? And feeling the rigidity in myself, in them, and like, I guess bringing in what I feel is the hard work right in the moment, right? Like right in the moment of conversation, of feeling overpowered, feeling whatever it is. I guess that's where I'm just feeling my body right now, and some, yeah, I guess past experiences of of feeling a little bit of that hard work, I suppose. And I guess bringing in to my awareness the next times of just remembering, maybe I just see if I can soften a little, and what comes from there. See if I can just soften a little, and what comes from there. So that's what I'm left with, and it's on my heart.
Thank you. Thank you for your wisdom. So, and I want to acknowledge, you know, it's, you in particular, and Jill as well, you know, you're in a pretty interesting place on the planet in terms of this, in terms of polarization, in terms of, so to be able to hold this, they're in Idaho, United States of America. So it's, you know, that you're all in different parts of the world holding different things, and with different challenges. Elsa as well, and you know that it's quite remarkable. And I just want to just leave you with thank you and my gratitude. Thank you for what you're doing. That whatever you're doing, I think that's the essence of the message, is that whatever we are doing in any given moment, where we stand fiercely in our own civility and our own sense of cultivating our hearts at this moment on the planet, is radical and revolutionary. And we're not the only ones, you know, and it ripples. And that's in essence the message that I'm holding on to, that I have to remind myself of. So thank you for those who have been sticking in with me for this long, and to be with me, to help me, challenge me, and help me grow in this, and to be in relationship and in community. I'm so grateful. And for those of you who are here for the first time or the first few times, thank you so much. You're welcome to come back. It doesn't change. It's every second Tuesday of the month, so there's no confusion around it. You could actually put it in your calendar now. I hear you can do things like that, like put it in advance in your digital calendars. And please tell people about this if it's something that resonates. First of all, Shelley, thank you for the notes you put in. I really appreciate that. Thank you, in the chat. And I'm putting all these links in the chat just quickly. You want to make a donation for this? I don't ask for money up front. You can Dana a donation. It goes to the 𝗵𝗶 Project, which is a nonprofit that continues to do work like this, and that's helping me also do more of this in the different communities, and working with different communities in Italy and Greenland, and other places in the United States. And get on our mailing list. One thing I want to say is that May 9th, we're doing a heart walk in Amsterdam. So come on over and join us, or it will be online. So please get on the website and check it out. We'd love if you can be online for the whole event as we walk through Amsterdam in a heart. Next, we won't have another heart a global heart, but please get on the website and I'll send some information. And there are other links here for the TEDx book purchase and things like that. So again, deep gratitude. Please take care of yourself. Please watch as the contractions keep coming, that you are taking care of yourself and moving from contraction into expansion and opening. And let's dedicate these energies. It's always nice to do that with all of the energy that we've generated, that may this energy support us and empower us and enliven us. and that it may ripple out to those we know in our lives that could use a little bit of softening, a little bit of soothing, a little bit of love, and communities around the world that could use this right now to empower and to soothe. Thank you very much, and keep in touch. Feel free to get in touch, and see you next month or at the Heart Walk. Bye.
Thank you.
Joe,
Bye.
would you,
Thanks,
that
Greg.
phrase you